Hi folks, it's early September and I'm away on holiday, and I have arranged to meet up with three friends from YouTube. Let me turn around so you can see their beautiful faces.
No.
Fred said no. Right, I've got Greg and Liam over my shoulder there, and Fred's gone shy, so we'll just say hello Fred off camera. Hi Fred.
Hello.
Right. He's filming me at the same time. But yeah, we've come here to Sculthorpe Moor, which is owned by the Hawk and Owl Trust. None of us have been here before, but we're going to have a wander around, see what we can see what we can get on camera, and just enjoy one another's company. Alright, catch you soon. Lovely Morecambe and Wise style heel click from Liam there. Okay, so just to the left of where I did that piece to camera are some feeders, bringing in the usual cast of small birds. Great tit, blue tit, a chaffinch taking advantage of the spillings, a greenfinch, and joining the chaffinch on the ground, our nation's favourite, the robin. We couldn't stick around the feeders all day though. There was the whole reserve waiting for us to explore, so we headed off to the first hide, which, although named the Dragonfly Hide, is not the one where we had the most success seeing dragonflies. It offered a view across an area of grassland with a shallow pool in the middle distance, and more feeders nearby on the left. It had been nice to catch a brief glimpse of greenfinch at the earlier feeding station, but here was a chance to get better views. I've not seen one in my Romford garden for over 12 years. Away from the feeders, just in front of the hide, a whitethroat was giving us only teasing glimpses through the shrubbery. Like many reserves, Sculthorpe makes use of grazing animals to help manage some of the habitat. Leaving Dragonfly Hide, we moved on, pausing for a few minutes at a sight screen which permitted views of another feeding station. This one playing host to a female pheasant and a family of dunnocks. Then it was on to Woodland Hyde, but not without pausing to appreciate this bracket fungus. The action at Woodland Hyde was decidedly mammalian rather than avian. A small rodent, a mouse, a vole, a shrew. It's a bank vole, in typical habitat and exhibiting characteristic behaviour. And then, a real treat, close views of a muntjac deer. This footage of mine is lousy due to me having made poor decisions on my equipment and setup, so Fred has very kindly let me have his much better footage. With that bit of excitement behind us, we consulted the map to see where we were going next. So after spending a couple of minutes deliberating over the map in the hide, we've come out the hide only to find there's a signpost telling us which way to go.
And that's why Graham's voice navigator.
We'd barely got going again when we saw a muntjac again, possibly the same one as before. This time, despite having amended my setup, I was unable to get footage of my own as I couldn't get a decent line of sight without stepping off the boardwalk onto the crunchy leaf litter which would have spooked the deer, so I hung back and let the other guys get their footage. This is mostly Fred's again, but I've also included a short snatch of Liam's. Terrific work, guys. Then we were off to Whitley Hyde, but all the while keeping a lookout for anything else of interest to film or photograph, like this pair of football hoverflies, which were in the process of making more football hoverflies, and this common darter basking in the sunshine. Arriving at Whitley Hyde, we saw that it gave an elevated view along a stretch of water which wasn't providing much action, and a bird table which was. Again, not all birds though. On the ground underneath, some young brown rats were taking advantage of the spillings. On the platform we were treated to views of a male bullfinch with a supporting cast of blue tit, chaffinch and great tit. The newest hide at Sculthorpe is Woodland Hyde, which overlooks a fairly recently created area of scrapes and gravelly mounds, which is really still in the process of bedding in. The only footage worth showing from this hide was Fred's distant kingfisher flight past.
Well, Greg said that the idea of that hide made him wet, but I think it was a bit of a washout, to be honest.
Yeah, it was a bit of a washout, but in all fairness, that's quite a newly created habitat, so it's going to take a couple of years for it to bed in, so perhaps worth a visit again in a couple of years' time.
Return visit!
Next, a brief visit to Tower Hyde revealed merely that the best and only worthwhile seats were already occupied, so we resolved to return after we'd visited one of the scrape hides, on the way to which we started seeing more dragonflies. Basking on the boardwalk, I think this again is a male common darter. And here an amorous pair. Not the last pair we'd see either. Reaching Scrape Hide 2, Liam was the first to notice mating pairs of them rapidly rising and falling over the surface of the water. What we're seeing here is egg laying. In the past I photographed an emperor dragonfly laying eggs directly into the water. For common darters though, the procedure is different. Wikipedia describes it thus: eggs are not laid but broadcast from the air. The male holds the female in tandem and swings her down and forward over water. At the furthest point of the arc, the female releases some of her eggs to fall on the water. Having witnessed that fascinating bit of natural behaviour, we retraced our steps back to Tower Hyde to see whether the best seats offering close views of the feeding station had come free. Sadly they hadn't, but Liam was able to get a good standing view and got this brilliant footage of juvenile bullfinches. Meanwhile I was having to say my goodbyes as I'd promised to get back to Hunstanton by 1 o'clock to rejoin my family for what was, after all, a family holiday. Heading back to the car park, I did manage a couple of brief stops, one to photograph another nice bracket fungus, and another to grab a bit of distant, shaky footage of a kestrel. So that was a taste of what we saw on our visit to Sculthorpe Moor Nature Reserve near Fakenham in Norfolk. If you're in the area, do check them out, well worth a visit. Disabled access is excellent, so if you're a wheelchair user and you love your nature, then do pay a visit to Sculthorpe. Right, as for the guys, Liam, Greg and Fred, I'll leave links in the description to their YouTube channels. Do please check them out, well worth it. And as for me, I'll see you again soon here on Naturally Curious UK. Meanwhile, you stay safe, stay sane, stay curious and keep enjoying the wonders of nature wherever you are.